welcome to First and Filoni. My name is Donovan and Filoni, and always with me is my co-host Andrew Cooper. How's it going, man?
What's up?
All right, man. Well, we had a pretty interesting week of football with YouTube TV debacle, but then a couple of major upsets that kind of set the landscape here. But let's get into it with the news first. I think you and I both called it last week. Hugh Freeze is out at Auburn. I'm not going to go through the full replacement, like we have with LSU and Penn State and Florida, because I think all same candidates for Florida and LSU are probably in the same picture. But where does this job rank with all the openings, or where do you have it ranking with all the openings that we have?
I would say third.
Third, so
Yeah.
above Penn State,
I had Penn State one. I mean,
LSU one.
I had LSU one, Penn State two, Florida three, and this would be four. I'm sorry.
Okay. So yeah, I think we both have them at four. Our top three are a little different, but I agree as well. Do you think they're able to win now? I know they're like little brother to Alabama, but Nick Saban isn't there anymore.
Who's at Auburn?
Yeah,
I think if they can get the right coaching in there.
yeah. And I think this is very similar to like the LSU pick, where you have to kind of be of that like fit, right? The fit and the coach. And I think that's what everybody's starting to see now is you have to be the right fit. But yeah, I think this fits right behind the Penn State, but right before like Virginia Tech. I think it's higher expectations in Virginia Tech, and but it's also a better conference. Better. I don't want to say better program because I think they're probably about equal all said and done, but they've won national titles more recent than Virginia Tech has. Um, but this is another school similar to like the LSU's and the Floridas and um, you know, that goes through the coaches pretty quickly. If they don't, and they don't want to settle for like 8 or 9 win seasons, they want to be competitive. But do you think they are national title contenders? Can they get there, or is this more of a typical 8, 9 win season team?
Um, I mean, I think they can get on the cusp of, getting into the college football playoffs. But I mean, if we're just being realistic, when they won it all with Cam Newton, I mean, they were good, but they weren't dominant.
No, yeah, I mean that was Cam. It was only Cam Newton there.
So, you know, I can see maybe consistent top 15, top 20 team all year
Yeah,
when they do
I,
get, the right coaching in there. But as far as them, national playoff, I mean, the college playoffs, to me, it doesn't matter how good you are all year. It's whether you're hot or not. Kind of like the World
right.
Series.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think you're right. I mean, if we look at it realistically, if we look just in the SEC, I can name probably five teams that I would always rank above Auburn. You have Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, LSU, six. Right now,
Yeah.
I think in their landscape, those are 1000% better jobs with all coaches were available. Um, But I mean, I think I understand where they want to be. They've been Alabama's little brother for years with Nick Saban, and they have won national title. I think they're a team where it's, once like kind of like an Ole Miss, once every 3 to 4 years, they should make a pretty deep run, or they should be able to make a pretty deep run in the
100%.
playoff. So next thing is Raiola broken fibula out for the season. Do you think Nebraska can win any more this season? They're at UCLA, at Penn State, and then home versus Iowa.
I could see him maybe winning one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is where we have to see how much of those wins were actually Raiola or not. I don't think Raiola's developed like the way that Rule wants him to, or once wanted him to. And I think that team's better than just Raiola, but also we don't know what their backup is either. I think Rule's a good enough coach that the team will be ready. I think they have a pretty solid defense and pretty decent offensive skill players. to beat like the UCLA, like you said. I think that's their one win. I think they win this weekend. But to beat Penn State, I'm not sure. And then the way Iowa's playing, definitely not. Iowa's sneaky good, man. I don't know if like more to come on that later. I think there might be a upset alert brewing in Iowa here coming up here against Oregon this weekend. But I don't see them winning anything else besides that, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter. Rule signed for the extension, and it seems like he's home there, and it does seem like Nebraska is back as a whole, which is good for college football. I'd like to see him take another step next year, though. Um, Next one, Dabo jokes about his job security in the latest press conference. Dabo's been on one this year, but do you think there's a concern for him to lose his job after a tough loss versus Duke?
No,
Yeah, I don't think so either. But that is six straight home ACC losses for him, dating back to last year.
really, it's definitely really odd to see that team struggling.
Yeah. I mean, they dominated the ACC for what, 15 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I mean it's
Down
you
to the
know
Taj Boyd eras when we were in high school.
yeah, I mean it's just very odd to see because you're so used to seeing them, year after year after year. Hopefully he can get it figured out. I like Dabo as a coach,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, no, I do too. I don't think it's a concern to lose his job unless he loses out. If he loses out, then I think it's a conversation. Then maybe it's just, time to move on from the Dabo tenure. I think he'll be a legend there. I think they'll build statues. But I think he still has a job. But I think, next year the scene might be a little warm. Especially if the same result happens next season and it doesn't start to adapt like the transfer portal. I think that's when they start to have the conversation. That's when we can start to have a conversation on our hands. But also, with everything going on with Clemson this year, I really wouldn't be shocked if he actually left on his own and maybe go to, say, Auburn, go to the other Tigers. I know he's an Alabama guy, but an SEC opening job opens up. Auburn's the type of program that I feel like can create a cult-like atmosphere like your Texas A&M, like your Clemson. That might be a really good fit for Dabo.
You think he resigns and pursues that?
I think they agree on a Auburn buyout and Auburn pays his contract out, buys him
Hmm.
out from Clemson.
I mean, it's a good possibility.
I mean, do you think he could succeed at Auburn? He would have to adopt the transfer portal 100% there. But the way he did Clemson, Auburn has way more resources, in a better conference. I could see it working, man, especially in the
Yeah,
South.
I can see it because of the name, but he's going to have to dip into the transfer portal. I mean, that's just. I was watching who was it the other day? NC State played North Carolina Central in basketball, and North Carolina Central's coach was asked a question after the game. He pretty much said, "Look, that's a $12 million roster right there. They're
Yeah.
bigger, they're stronger, they have the resources." So, and it's like he said too, it was like, this day and time with the NIL, the games have changed, the
Hmm.
sports have changed. So, I mean, if you don't adopt the NIL and you don't go out and pursue, I mean,
Right.
you're just going to be stuck in the past. I mean, I just don't see this day and time, you can recruit, you can get 4 or 5 star recruits, but if you don't have the money in Alabama or Oregon or LSU or Texas A&M is throwing them stupid amount of dollars, or would you go to somewhere else that's not going to do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe part of the reason why Dabo was all in on not doing the transfer portal is because Clemson doesn't have those funds. I mean, because they're not a historically good school in football. Like they've only been good because of Dabo. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think he would adopt it under the Auburn, like you said with the basketball analogy you just had there is we have the money, let's use it. And Auburn, I think Auburn has more money than Clemson does. I would
Oh yeah,
fair to guess at least. I mean
yes,
that's a
I
valid
would.
point. Every single point you said is true. Which is also why we're seeing like all the parity going on in college football too. Like I think it's a good thing. I think there are things about the NIL, like you and I have talked about, that I wish was a little different. But also, like the parity is pretty good this season. Um, which kind of leads us into our next topic here. The college football playoff rankings. Let me pull it up here. The first one of 2025 just came out this year, and we'll take a live reaction here. It came out last night. We record on Wednesday night, so it came out Tuesday night. So we have live reactions right here. So let's go ahead and talk about, kind of what we see here going forward in the college football playoff here. We'll start at one Ohio State, two Indiana, three Texas A&M, four Alabama, five Georgia. Um, any issues with the top five there?
Yeah,
Really? Already?
yes, yes. And I'm not throwing any shade at Indiana, but I definitely think Texas A&M should be a two seed.
Oh, okay. That's not where okay. But
I
so
just,
so
I
so
just
my
feel like, I just feel like Texas A&M is in a whole lot harder conference,
I
and they
agree.
played a whole hell of a lot more competition, other than Indiana playing Illinois and Oregon.
But okay, but the best win Texas A&M has is who? Oklahoma? Yeah. And the best one Indiana has is Oregon. But you're also correct. They've played a lot more higher rated teams. Okay, I'm not gonna fight you on that. I can agree with that. I think Indiana's been more dominant in their wins, and I think that's probably why they put them at two.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, the same could be said with Ohio State. They're dominating, but who have they
They
really
haven't
played?
played anybody. Yeah, I mean, with that logic, I'd put Texas A&M at one. All right, well, I'm not gonna fight you on that. That sounds good. Six Ole Miss, seven BYU, eight Texas Tech, nine Oregon, 10 Notre Dame. Any issues? We'll talk as a whole afterwards too.
No, I'm good with that.
And then we'll just go through the rest of them. 11 Texas, Oklahoma, Utah, Virginia, first ACC school, Louisville, 16 Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Miami, USC, Iowa, 21 Michigan, Missouri, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. Okay, so those are the top rankings. So, you know, give me some points, or what highlights do you think are in here? Do you think the college football committee got it right? Where are your issues with this ranking?
Um, okay, obviously the top.
I think the first three are no surprise. You can put them in any order, kind of like what we said. The top
Yeah,
six are all SEC Big Ten, which doesn't really surprise me with your argument of strength of schedule. I think one of the surprises to me is the first ACC team is that number 14 with Virginia.
yeah, you really can't throw Virginia. Not saying that they haven't played anybody because of the conference, but it's not like they're truly dominating in their wins lately
No,
either.
they're like winning one possession or one, score games.
Yes,
And
and
Louisville and Miami dropped bad losses. Georgia Tech got their butts whipped by NC State, but they should have lost a couple games already.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I could see Vanderbilt sitting at 14, 15.
Yeah, I mean they're at 16. They're not far off. I think
Missouri, I don't see Missouri staying in the long with the
they're
backup
not. They
quarterback.
have to be where they're at because of that, but without Pabula, like they're not gonna be there long. And I think that's the same thing with um uh I mean, well, Pitt's been sneaky good when they put in that freshman quarterback, but I think some of them will kind of like work itself out, right? Like Texas Tech, BYU, they're both 7-8. Those are pretty high for Big 12 schools, but they play each other this weekend. So one's going to drop pretty drastically, I think. Whoever loses, that's going to be in the 15 to 20 range. Um,
I mean,
with this kind of,
really and truly, I mean, what am I reading here? 17, 18. I feel like Miami should have took a little bit of a fall too, more than
yeah.
what they're at, because I mean they lost to two unranked teams, one of them being in Louisville and the other one SMU.
Well, Louisville, I think is fine. That loss is a good loss because of where Louisville's ranked. But the SMU loss, I agree. They shouldn't have lost that. The only reason why I think they have them there is because they beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's number
Okay,
10.
yeah, true. I forgot about that.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, I think overall, I think they got it correct. I mean, it's going to drastically change by the end of it. Like Texas, Oklahoma, we can have that conversation. If one of they're both two losses right now, but if they go 2-1, uh, with the remaining part of their schedule, I think they're in over a two-loss ACC team or a two-loss Big Ten team or Big 12 team because of their schedule.
Oh yeah, that definitely go off strength of
A
schedule.
9-3 versus a 10-2, I think so. And I think what this is showing is the committee showing that strength of schedule matters. Um, like I think they would even put them ahead of like the BYU Texas loser. Um, like a two-loss Texas Tech or a three-loss Texas, I'm going to take the three-loss Texas, especially the way Arch has been playing lately.
Yeah,
One another thing that I noticed in this is where's the G5 schools? So there is no G5
yeah,
schools. The highest rated G5 is Memphis right now. That would be my highest rated G5 school. Mine would be JMU right now. The way JMU is playing and their loss, they could have beat Louisville. I know they lost by 14, but like that game was close until the fourth quarter.
yeah. I mean, you could argue JMU Memphis.
USF. I mean, even Tulane, even though Tulane lost again,
Uh,
but
yeah, I mean, I could USF, Memphis, and JMU right now would be the top three G5s.
yeah, yeah, they are. I think JMU has a shot at it, but okay. I mean, I think this is our first rankings. I think they did it right, and I'm very surprised, but also happy about it. So, um, question for you, trivia question. Who was rated at number one in the first ever college football playoff rankings? Do you know?
Wasn't it Clemson?
Nope. Mississippi State, 2014. Dak Prescott.
Oh,
That team was so nasty. And then they fell off from there. But it is what it is. They were very, very good during that run. All right, let's go into one last question in Q2, then we'll go into Q3. With the AC, will the ACC even get two playoff spots after the top teams losing this past weekend? Meaning Georgia Tech losing pretty bad to NC State and SMU beating Miami for their second loss of the season.
getting two in? I don't see it. I see maybe one.
Yeah. I mean, just last week we thought like if they won out, they could potentially get three in with Louisville. But I think you're right. I think one is the key, whoever wins the conference at this point. Um, even though they put in precedent of, the loser of the championship game got in with SMU, I think the way SMU lost last year and the way that like the SEC and maybe even like an Oregon or an Iowa at the end might be better suited for the playoff than like a Louisville or Georgia Tech, Miami, whoever the loser of that game is.
I think I honestly think they're going to keep the SMU situation deep into their hands after
Really?
last year. Yeah,
Meaning you think they're gonna do
honestly
it
do.
again?
No, I think they're going to snub somebody.
Yeah, I do too, especially the way that they just rank these. But I think they should. Like, I mean, SMU deserved to get in last year because of their record. They lost one, but we're not going to have a one-loss losing ACC or Big 12 team unless BYU does it.
That is correct.
So, all right, well, let's get into Q3 for our superlatives. We'll do a pretty much shorter episode this week, and the superlatives, I think, will tell you why, at least at the end of them. So, player of the week, Andrew. I feel like we're going to have a lot of homer picks on your side this week.
You got it.
So let's go ahead. Player of the week,
Player of the week. I gotta go with.
CJ Bailey,
Gotta
right?
go. Nope. Nope. I gotta go. Well, he's the second that I have. I gotta go with Duke Scott, man.
Yep.
True freaking freshman stepping in for Hollywood Smothers, who's leading the ACC in rushing yards. 24 carries, 196 yards in the
Whew.
game, sealing touchdown against Georgia Tech. And then, of course, you got to go with C.J. Bailey in that offensive line. CJ played most of what the second half with an injured ankle, 24-32, 340 yards, and two touchdowns.
So what actually happened in that game? Because I had YouTube TV and I couldn't watch it. Like, what happened? Was it just, belt to ass the whole game, or was it
I
like
don't
close at any
know.
point?
Well, I mean, it was close. I mean, both teams are just scoring left and right. And NC State, I think, had one goal line stand, got a few field goals and penalties, kind of helped NC State. I mean, our defense isn't that good. I mean, we did get some stops and some penalties killed us, but I mean, our offense was just that's the offense that I think we've been looking for all year, and it just
Well, you had it
finally
at the
clicked.
beginning of the year. It just
Yeah, we
disappeared.
had it just disappeared. So I don't know what the offensive line definitely played a better game, creating more holes. But then again, you say what you want, but playing in that atmosphere in a night game, especially if you're a ranked team, it's tough.
Halloween weekend.
Yes, it's actually homecoming this weekend.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
like I said, if you're playing, and you've been there. I mean,
yeah.
as close as everybody is on that field, I know it's only what 58,000, 56 to 58,000 people, but you're so tight on that stadium, and it's when that place is sold out and it's a night game,
It
and
gets loud. It gets loud
it's
there.
it's loud.
Deceivingly
So,
loud. Like,
but then again, Georgia Tech could have overlooked us because we were 4-4.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
I'm not
hard
gonna
to
lie
say.
to you. I think I did too. I thought Haynes King was gonna have the way with that defense, but
Oh, he did. He did all night. He threw the ball. I mean, he missed quite a few passes. I mean, the receivers dropped a few passes, but I mean, he ran over us all night. I mean, he threw the ball on us all night.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
even at one point, one of the announcers was like, NC State secondary is not that good. If I'm Haynes King, I'm taking shots down the field all night.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I figured you were gonna go with that for your player of the week. My player of the week is Arch Manning, Texas quarterback. Arch went 25 for 33 for 328 and three touchdowns. And the last 3 weeks, after we all thought Texas was dead, Arch has quietly had a pretty good season and come back and actually been the player that we all expected him to. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does the last 3 weeks of the season because I, I mean, they got Georgia, they got A&M, and then they got somebody else. And if they go 2-1 out of those three, I think they're in the playoffs. If they beat Georgia next week, I think that's who they play next week. Then I think they might be in the playoffs. Um, I just think he's been so much more improved. Maybe the hype got to him at the beginning of the season, but he's looked really, really good as of late. Game of the week. I'll let you go. Do you want to talk more about the NC State Georgia Tech game?
I mean, it was definitely the game of the week. But I also had SMU, Miami, Texas, and Vandy. I mean, I thought they were probably the three best games. I mean, the Clemson game was a damn good game too.
Yeah, Clemson Duke, the last 5 minutes of that, Duke having the balls to go for it on fourth down, and I mean,
I
for
mean,
2 points.
yeah, I think that's the first time Duke's won in Clemson, and God, can't even remember how many years.
Yeah, I went a little bit different route. Like I said, didn't get to watch most of those games. I got to watch the highlights, but I went West Virginia and Houston. Rich Rod got them boys humming again. I think Rich Rod Ball is going to be back next year once he actually gets his team in there. But they smoked a pretty good Houston team, 45-35. And that's, the type of West Virginia scores that we like to see if we're Rich Rod fans, right? High scoring, high paced games. West Virginia just can't let him go at this point. I think he's found a home. He's going to stay there. He's not leaving for anything bigger. He did that with Michigan and it didn't work out. I, I'm I'm hoping this is a sign to come, and I think they can finish the season strong. But man, Rich Rod had them boys humming against Houston, and Houston. Houston's not a bad team this year, and they're seven and
No,
one, 7-2 at this point. So, okay, winners of the week. My winner of the week, I think, is just Texas and Georgia because they keep continually winning close games. Especially Georgia. They get a 3-point win in Jacksonville on the world's what is it, the largest outside tailgate party or whatever, or cocktail party.
cock-
That's right,
cocktail
cocktail
party.
party. Almost went to that game, but I didn't. I found a $40 ticket and I almost went, but um, I think they, getting a close win again uh, was. They just keep winning close, and that's signs of good teams. I think if you can win the close games and still keep your head up, that's what you need going forward. Who's your winner of the week?
I had three. I went Texas, Duke.
Mm.
Watch out because Duke, Manny Diaz has got the boys rolling down there with Darian Mensah. And then I went SMU. SMU being able to retain Rhett Lashley for what, 2, 3 more years, and then they come out and beat a pretty good Miami team. So I went with them.
Yeah, that surprised me that Rhett Lashley's decided to stay. I feel like he would have been a good person for the Auburn job too. Um, but I mean, why don't if I'm Penn State, I'm bringing in Manny Diaz at least for a conversation.
I
I mean,
mean, look what he's done at Duke.
but he did it there at Penn State too as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Why not, right? Like, I mean, Duke's defense,
I
Manny
think
Diaz is a defensive guy, but their defense apparently isn't that great. But
I
they're
honestly think
winning under him, man.
I honestly think Penn State's got their eyes set on Heartland.
I don't know if he leaves Ohio State though. Not for Penn State.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen crazier.
I mean, James Franklin did get fired after week 5, so we already have seen crazier this season. So Harline would be interesting, but I don't know. I think I take a shot at Manny Diaz. I don't know, but Hardline's the interesting hire because he's an Ohio State guy through and through. But if he get, I think they would be happy for him to get a head coaching job if it was anywhere besides Michigan or Penn State. So that's where I question that. I know there's a lot of people saying it, but I just don't know, man.
Oh well, money talks.
That, what is it? The best job in the world is a fired coach, right? Fired head coach in college football. So,
Well, I
all
mean,
right,
I'm just saying, if I got fired in week 5 and
yeah,
I was collecting what I was collecting, I'd be hunting every day, bud.
$50 million buyout. Yes, I'm going to my interviews, and fulfilling my duty for morality clause. But okay, losers of the week. Who are your losers of the week?
I went to Georgia Tech because they finally got exposed. I mean, we all knew it was kind of coming.
Yeah.
I didn't expect what I witnessed. Like I said, I think I don't know if I even said it in the group chat, but I mean, I just couldn't believe what I saw. I mean, the defense to me just looked like it got worn down with the run game. Uh, I That kind of blew me away. Then I kind of went Tennessee because
Mm. Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Oklahoma and Brent Venables, but Tennessee, with all the money they're dumping into that program, and they're constantly just losing games that they really need to win to solidify their chances in the playoffs. Kind of,
Well, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate on that one because I think they knew this year would be a little bit of a down year because of all the pieces they lost on defense, and they're unsure at quarterback. Now they got that four-star kid who is a freshman this year, who they redshirted, messed him, starts with M, can't think of his name. But supposedly he was fighting Aguilar for the starting job, but they decided to redshirt him and he'll be their starter next year. Not saying their offense is the problem, it's their defense. But you're right. Like they had all the hype in the world after last year, and actually after a couple of years. I think they're still happy with Heupel. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue right now. But maybe if they keep getting these, 8-4, 9-3 seasons, Tennessee will be the next opening. So, I mean, that's a good call out. My loser of the week is me and everyone else who has YouTube TV. We thought we were having good deals with everything, and then just all of a sudden they decide to get in a pissing contest with Disney, and that just never works. Um, So what I think happened was obviously the contract was up with Disney, and they're trying to get way more money because they just launched a new ESPN app to get, and if you pay $30 a month, you get Hulu, Disney, and ESPN. Um, but I think they're trying to sell that versus re-sign with YouTube TV. I think they'll get it fixed eventually because now it's affecting the NFL and like Dancing with the Stars. But man, oh man, I could only watch like Fox and CBS and uh, Big Ten Network, SEC Network channels. So I couldn't even watch the good games on ABC or ESPN. So let's hope they get it fixed by this weekend, but I don't know if they will or not. So all right, let's go into quarter four and game picks. Records: Andrew 70 and 36. I'm 59 and 47, and the locks are 57 and 47. My gambling locks are almost caught up to my money line picks. That's not good. We're going to take some big swings this week, I think, though. Northwestern at USC. USC is favored by 13 and a half points. I have USC winning and continuing. We all thought Lincoln Riley might be on the hot seat, but he keeps winning. So give me USC.
yeah, I went USC.
Next is Tulane at Memphis. Friday night match again. Memphis is 3.5 point favorites, which I think they win this. Tulane suffered a bad loss. I think it was last week, unfortunately. But I think Memphis is trying to make their spot for the playoff here.
Yeah, I went with Memphis.
Navy at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 25.5 points. Put this on there because Navy's 7-1, and always seems to give Notre Dame some trouble. I have Notre Dame winning this game, but I think it's closer than 25 points.
I went Notre Dame.
Georgia at Mississippi State. Georgia's favored by 8.5 points. They do have Texas next week. Who do you have in this game, Andrew? Georgia or Mississippi State?
I went Georgia, but don't be surprised if something happens.
See, I'm going Mississippi State after they get their first SEC win last week. That's another winner of the week is Mississippi State. First SEC win for Jeff Lebby. First SEC win in 2 years for Mississippi State after they should have beat Texas and they should have beat Tennessee and they probably should have beat Florida. I think they continue it here. I think Georgia is looking ahead to Texas as they probably should. And I think Mississippi State, like you said, don't be surprised. I think they win this outright. BYU at Texas Tech, top 10 matchup. Texas Tech's favored by 10.5 points, but BYU's been double-digit dogs before. Who you got?
This one was a real tough one to me. I'm gonna go with
Yes.
Texas Tech in the home field advantage.
I, yeah, I think Lubbock is a different atmosphere. I, I, I'm getting more and more on the side of BYU as they keep winning, but it's kind of reminded me of the TCU team a couple of years ago that really wasn't that good but kept winning games. Um, I hope that's not the case. I hope they're better than that team, so they don't get put 70 points up against them. But we'll see there. Texas A&M at Missouri. Texas A&M is favored by 6.5. I got Texas A&M.
Definitely got Texas.
Oregon at Iowa. Oregon's favored by 6.5 points. It's a 3:30 kickoff, rainy kickoff. Who you got?
Oregon.
I am going upset alert here, and I am going Iowa. I think Iowa's sneaky better than most people think, and I got to make up some ground on you. So UVA at Wake Forest. UVA is favored by 6.5 points. Wake Forest having a pretty decent year. You going with UVA as well?
Yes.
Florida State at Clemson. Clemson's favored by 2.5 points. Who you got?
I'm going with the Noles.
So am I, unfortunately. LSU at Bama. This one should have been a much better game than it actually is. Bama's favored by 10.5. I got Bama. I think they win by more than 10.5.
Yeah, I definitely got Bama.
All right, cool. All right, so gambling locks of the week. I got FSU versus Clemson. Give me FSU plus 2.5 since I think they're going to win outright anyways. Maryland versus Rutgers. Rutgers is favored by 1.5 points. Give me Maryland plus 1.5. West Virginia versus Colorado. West Virginia is favored by 5.5 points. I think they win by more than that. Give me West Virginia minus 5.5. Mississippi State versus Georgia. I already think Mississippi State's going to win outright, so give me Mississippi State plus 8.5. JMU versus Marshall. JMU is favored by 13.5 points. I think they win by at least two touchdowns, so give me JMU minus 13.5. LSU versus Alabama. Bama's favored by 10.5 points. Like I said, I think Bama wins by at least two touchdowns, so Bama minus 10.5. Florida versus Kentucky. Florida's favored by 3.5 points. Give me Florida minus 3.5. I just don't think Kentucky can keep up with them, and Florida looked pretty decent last week. Texas A&M versus Mizzou. I think Texas A&M wins by more than a touchdown, so give me Texas A&M minus 6.5. Tulane versus Memphis. I think it's going to be a shootout like always in the G5, so over 54.5 points. And BYU, Texas Tech. I think this is a defensive struggle for both teams. Under 52.5 points.
I like it.
All right, man. Well, that's the show for this week. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the comments and the shares, and we will see you next week.